We're bringing you breaking news just into our newsroom. Bond has been set for former Colts player Daniel Muir and his wife Kristen Muir. Thanks for joining us on 13 News at noon. I'm Gina Galeros. In an emergency hearing this morning, the Cass County Circuit Judge set that bond for the Muirs at $5,000 cash or $25,000 surety. Daniel and Kristen Muir are charged with obstruction of justice for not cooperating in an investigation of alleged domestic battery of their 14-year-old son, Bryson. Their religious community property in Logansport was raided on July 3rd, and the parents were arrested and denied bail as flight risks. Kristen Muir's lawyer issued a statement after today's emergency hearing, saying in part, "We thank the judge for so quickly resolving these matters and expect the Muirs to be released on bond later today." Right now, we know that a hearing is scheduled for July 16th at 9 a.m. We will continue to follow updates on the Muirs as they come into our newsroom.
And I heard about 6, 7 shots, like loud. So I'm like, oh man, somebody must have got shot.
We're hearing from neighbors on the city's west side after a man was shot and killed. And just hours ago, we learned that man's name. The shooting happened just before 6 o'clock last night on Medford Avenue near 12th and Tibbs. Neighbors heard those shots. They say kids were outside playing when those shots rang out. 36-year-old Otis Keller was killed in this shooting. Neighbors tell us shootings have become the new normal for them.
I don't know. Violence is everywhere nowadays. You can't stop it other than going home and staying put up. That's all I can say.
Scary. No word yet on any suspects or a motive in this shooting. We'll pass along any new information as soon as we learn more. 12:02 on our Friday. We're taking a live look outside right now as we're focusing on this Friday forecast and that weekend just hours away, right? Clear skies outside right now, and it's feeling warmer. Pretty humid out there.
Yeah, 5 hours to be exact. at least for me. Yours comes a little sooner.
In about an hour.
Yeah. Okay, you're almost there. Finish line's in sight. Yeah, we are going to have spotty storms around, Gina. It won't be nearly the coverage that we had yesterday. Please know that. A lot of dry hours, really the next several days, but you'll have to be on radar watch, and the only shower in the state for the most part is happening over in Wayne County. Rumbles of thunder, downpours. Air still very humid, so whatever does pop up on radar here in the coming hours will have some bang for its buck. I just don't think we're going to have the 60% coverage like yesterday. It's going to be more of a 20 or 30%. 82 in Indy at this hour. We've had fog for a good portion and low cloud cover a little farther to the north. 74 in Kokomo, but that will warm quickly now that we're starting to thin out that fog layer, and we're all in the same old humid air with dew points hovering around 70 degrees. So it is going to be sticky, and that's going to hang true until later next week. 82 in Indy right now with the west wind, light, and that's generally going to stay that way. Here's the planner for this afternoon: humid heat, spotty thunderstorms. Much to discuss in the 7-day, when the humid heat will peak, and wait until you see the cool change on the way. Timeline ahead.
All right, we'll see you then. Thanks, Sean. This afternoon, Congresswoman Victoria Spartz is set to appear in a Virginia court after she was caught with a gun in Washington Dulles Airport. The Indiana Republican faces a misdemeanor charge after TSA found her gun in her carry-on during a screening. Spartz was headed on an international trip at the time, and she was ticketed before heading to their destination. The Congresswoman's spokesperson says Spartz did not realize the gun was there and was unloaded. She is due in court on September 20th. New developments in the Delphi case this afternoon. Attorneys for Richard Allen are asking for a special judge to deal with a specific issue in this case. They say Judge Francis Gall has taken too long to rule on motions filed in the case, and now the attorneys are requesting the state Supreme Court appoint a special judge to rule on those motions. Attorneys for Richard Allen say it's been months since they've heard from the court on 2 of their requests. Attorney Andrew Baldwin has filed a formal request asking the state's highest court to determine if the decisions have taken longer than the rules allow. The next hearing in this case is set to start July 30th. Allen is charged with killing Abby Williams and Libby German in 2017. Well, beginning tonight, drivers on the south side can expect another round of closures on I-465. Crews will work in the northbound lanes between 65 and 70. That is set to start around 9 o'clock tonight. Several ramps along that stretch will close for some patchwork in this area. This should wrap up at the beginning of August. Now, this is part 2 of a 6-phase project to restore 465. City leaders here in Indy are talking about expanding a program aimed at improving road safety. Certain neighborhoods around Indy have taken concerns over traffic risks into their own hands to slow cars down by putting up some rumble strips and water walls. But here's the problem. Not every neighborhood can afford to spend the time or money to do that for themselves. So now the city is offering to split the bill through its neighborhood infrastructure program. Essentially, neighbors pay for half, the city picks up the rest. The city is also launching a lending library, loaning out equipment for these neighbors to rent. So you can find all the details about how to take advantage of these new initiatives right now in this story, WTHR.com/SeenOn13. Right now in Kokomo, more than 130 lots are sitting empty all across town. They're owned by the city and collecting dust. But now a new program is expected to bring in new life in more ways than one. Samantha Johnson shares how this program will work.
It's one of the main streets through Kokomo, Apperson Way, and just north of downtown, Travis Tafflinger tours his new 2-lot property that now belongs to his nonprofit called Bridges Outreach. He helps folks learn how to become homeowners, and it may not look like it now, but this is a prime piece of land.
We serve a school that's a half mile that way and a half mile that way, so this is a beautiful part of Kokomo.
And this is part of more than 130 lots in the Kokomo infill program. Vacant lots owned by the city are dished out to local developers chosen by a selection committee. Those groups are then tasked with building affordable homes in just 1 year.
The front door will be right here, be a nice little porch. We'll have a house on this side, a house on this side.
2 single-story ranch-style homes, 3-bed and 2-bath. Tafflinger tells me the goal is to move 2 families into these homes by the end of the year. But for the folks over at Bridges, they say this program is about much more than just housing.
When you build a home, you're helping a family, which is totally true, but we're also, everything that we do is locally, so we're helping our economy. And then third, we're actually helping not just the 2 people that'll be here, but we're helping every one of these neighbors because the value in their house is going to go up. And that's true neighborhood development and helping this block.
Kokomo Mayor Tyler Moore tells me it's about sparking local business and ramping up affordable housing while also boosting the city's curb appeal.
It's going to be exciting for Kokomo because they're going to see these places that have just been grass lots start to become homes here in the next 12 months.
In Kokomo, Samantha Johnson, 13 News.
Mayor Moore says the infill program is actually a revamp of a program the city tried a few years ago, and you can learn more about how it works at WTHR.com. Finding an affordable place to live got a little easier here in Indianapolis. As we showed you yesterday on Sunrise, St. Lucas Loft Apartments are now open. This is on the corner of New York and Rural Street. Most units are for people whose income is roughly between $25,000 and $43,000 a year. They are still accepting applications, and we have a link on our website.